Hello, everybody. This is our third time, and this is your favorite podcast. NL Connection все-таки, походу.
That is true. That is
Right,
true.
right. Okay, and this week is about landscapes. We gathered together today to talk about traveling experience and about nature.
Yeah, let's start. Well, okay. So, as long as I know you really like hiking and traveling on your feet. So, my first question to you is gonna be, have you been on any like really high mountain?
I would say that I have never been to any super high mountain like Everest, for example, but the highest mountain I have ever been to is Mount Ashton.
Okay.
The
And
Mount
how high is the Ashten's peak?
Ashton's peak is, if I'm not mistaken, it's something about 2,880 meters above the sea level, but I haven't reached the top because I'm a chicken. Can you imagine? Really? I was climbing that mountain 2 years ago and I had only 50 meters left. And, my fear stopped me and I couldn't continue. So I was
Oh,
sitting there crying. Really, really. I just couldn't help myself, but I was super afraid. Super, yeah. And that was the moment when I understood that I'm super afraid of height.
okay. Interesting. I've never thought about it. Well, I have been thinking about me being afraid of height, but no. I have discovered that I'm not afraid of height. Right now, I'm sitting next to a window on the ninth floor. So,
No, that's fine.
yeah.
That's fine. I mean, like I can stand on the edge of the roof or something like that. But when you are maybe you have experienced being somewhere very high in the mountains, but when you like stay at the edge of the mountain and you see nothing, this primal fear appears in your body. So this happened to me 2 years ago, and I hope this year we are going to the same track to Mount Ashten.
Czech Republic, the highest peak is 1,300 meters.
Or something like
It's like
in Crimea. Yeah.
it's like nothing. It's called Sněžka. But I was climbing not Sněžka, but another huge hill. It's not a mountain even. It was called Ještěd. So I was climbing that Ještěd. It's near the city which has the name of Liberec. It's the north of the Czech Republic. So with the border on the border with Germany. And I was climbing the Ještěd hill during the winter. And winters in Czech Republic are kind of tricky because we have it like plus 2 degrees centigrade, something like that. When I was climbing that hill, it started raining. And then while I was like progressing up, the rain changed to the snow, and I was totally wet. And afterwards, I was freezing cold because of the snow. So I put my stick into the ground and went back down the hill. But that was interesting experience.
I have never heard this story from you. And you know how to say when it's raining and snowing at the same time. Do you know how to say this?
I I don't know. It's a thunderstorm there. Okay. Well, so isn't it raining cats and dogs?
No, no, I'm not talking about idioms. I'm talking about like weather
Oh
conditions.
no, no. In that case, no. Breathe,
It's sleeting.
sleeping.
Yeah, because sleet, this is the wet snow.
Okay, it's the first time in my life I hear this word. Thank you very much. Nastya really teaches you something.
Talking about different fears, I can tell you that Also, I'm afraid to swim in a river, really, because I can't see the bottom. I can't see it, and I don't really know, like, what exists there. Yes, yes. So this is once again the primal fear, that I have, and I never swim in a river. I
That's
might
so strange.
No. Why?
Because, like, okay, if you swim in the ocean and you have that fear, I can understand. If you swim in the sea and you have that fear, I also can understand because, like, seas comes from oceans. But river, it's like 5, 10, maybe. Okay, yeah, 5, 10 meters deep and nothing. I was diving in Egypt. I was diving at 9 meters depth, and I've seen a shark there. It was a pretty interesting experience.
Okay, okay. I'll ask you about the desert a little bit later, but like, have you ever what river do you have in Czech Republic, in the city you live in? Like,
In Prague, there are many rivers. The major one is called Vltava, but I really like the name of a small one, which like goes from Vltava. It's called Chertovka.
all
Yes,
right, I
and
know this. Yeah.
you know that river, yeah? Yeah, the Chertovka district is very beautiful. It's like Czech Venice. So, yeah, Vltava River. I have I haven't swum in the Vltava River, but I nearly swam there.
Tell me the
Yeah,
story.
yeah, I was on a date with a girl, and we were on a pier, and she had her bag behind her, and the date is progressing, and at some moment I hear a bloop. I was like, what was that? She was like, I don't know. I see that she doesn't have her bag behind her, and that was her bag, which dropped into Vltava River. No hesitation, I went there. I didn't jump into the river, but I jumped over the fence of the pier and like grabbed the bag from the river. So yeah, this is the
Gentlemen.
yes, yes, indeed.
Girls are lucky because you're single.
Okay, as you say.
You started telling me about the Egypt traveling, right? So can you tell me about being in the desert? I have never been in a desert in my life. But quick fact, did you know that in Rostov region there is a desert?
Yes. Yeah, also, did you know that in Rostov region you have the official and one of the few in the world reservations where pure Mustang horses live?
No.
Now you know.
How did you know?
Because I learned geography. So, yeah, you've asked me about the desert and my experience in Egypt. That was a pretty interesting experience. Well, first of all, I thought the deserts are like in movies. So smooth dunes. No, forget about that. They are very wavy.
Hmm.
So the sand itself, it's not like that. It's like that. And it's like with a frequency of every 10 centimeter. And I was driving a quadricycle in the desert
For your butt.
for my butt, for my fingers, for my arms, for my body because oh my god, that was like that terrifying.
Is it true that it is extremely hot during the daytime in the desert, but extremely cold during the nighttime?
That is absolutely true. Yes. Feeling extreme hot in the desert. But gladly I have never been in desert during the night because I've also been in Kazakhstan and I've been in the Western Kazakhstan, and Western Kazakhstan is also a desert. Yeah, and there in Western Kazakhstan, I've been in a canyon. Yes, I've seen a canyon. That was a fascinating experience. Very interesting. I highly recommend everyone to go to see that.
That is my dream, to see the real canyon, like the Great Canyon in the USA.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really a dream. And I have never been to a canyon.
You haven't been there?
I haven't been there. I traveled only along the east coast of the USA, and I have never been to the west coast, West Coast Customs.
You haven't ever seen a canyon in your life, but so can I say about waterfalls? I've seen a very few of them.
Hmm.
Can you tell me, have you ever seen a waterfall and what waterfall was it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can tell you that I have been to the highest waterfall in Crimea. And I didn't know that it was the highest waterfall in Crimea, and I washed my feet in it.
Oh my god.
And I wasn't not at the bottom of the waterfall, but on the top of the waterfall because we were hiking and we were going down through the very high mountain through the forest, and we saw a very big, like a very big paddle, and we were like, oh my gosh, thanks god. And we wanted to drink so much, first of all, and we wanted to wash our face and so on because it was super hot. It is extremely hot in Crimea, yeah. And I'll put
Drink
here
from
some.
metal.
I Yes, of course, that's the usual situation while you're hiking. Where are you going to? The way you from what are you going to drink? Like you are not going to have like
From the
shops.
bottle.
Where do you have this bottle of water?
In your backpack.
And in your backpack?
On your back.
No, I mean, I mean there are no shops. It's just a pure nature.
Нихуя себе! Я увидел, она буквально, блядь, ебать! I'm gonna close the window for now.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yes, you don't have shops while you're hiking. There are no shops, and you can't have the, I don't know, endless amount of water with you from the shop. So it's impossible. You need to drink. You need to fill the bottle somewhere, and usually you do it from mountain rivers, by the way, or water sources, water springs. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah, so talking about this big paddle, we thought it was a big paddle. Yes, I've seen it. Oh my gosh. It is super close. It is super close because it's like only 2 seconds. Oh my gosh. When we come to this paddle to wash our feet and to drink, not in the same place, we understood that this is a waterfall. When we finally finished our hiking and we were at the feet of this mountain, we saw a sign like the highest waterfall in in Crimea. И знаешь, люди там набирают воду. Would you like to live near the coastline?
That's a good question because I don't know. I would definitely like to live near the water, but uh, most of all, I think I would like to live near the river because I like rivers. I wouldn't say that I really like seas or oceans. Well, they are interesting, they're beautiful, but I don't know. I find something calming when I'm looking at the river. So, yeah, I would definitely like to live near the river and not near the coastline. And what about you?
Definitely. Definitely. I would love to live near the big water. I would love to live near the sea or near the ocean. And the most beautiful coastline I have ever seen in my life was in Australia. The coastline in Australia is something unimaginably beautiful. It's, I don't know, is mouth dropping. It's something breathtaking. I don't know. I felt like I am not on Earth because it's something, I don't know. I have never seen something like that before. And but I don't want to live in Australia, of course. That's not my
Hmm.
country at all because of the insects, and because of the heat. They have like 50 degrees in summer. It's,
Hmm.
like in Rostov, by the way, sometimes. Yeah. I don't really like. No, I like rivers, but I don't want to live near the river because of mosquitoes.
What I can tell is in Prague, there's only one place where I found mosquitoes, and that's our huge park, which is called Stromovka. So Královská Stromovka. In the Holešovice district, that's a huge, enormous park with some ponds there, and around those ponds you can find mosquitoes, of course, during the evening.
Thank you so much for participating. And my favorite story of yours today was about your climbing in sleety weather. Really, yeah, I loved that lightning that almost reached you.
Oh yes. Sadly, didn't. Thank you very much for that conversation. It's always a pleasure. It has been, and it is, and it will be a pleasure to meet you next week in the same place.
Yeah, see you next week.
Sure. Hit the like button, press the subscribe button. Anal connection is here. Ooh, ooh.